Welcome to Mediocre Millionaire, where we teach simple, no-nonsense ways to help you achieve wealth and financial independence for the person who just wants to control their time, energy, and resources. Today, we are going to talk about paying off debt and good debt versus bad debt. I truly agree and believe that not all debt is bad. I think that you can leverage good debt to create financial wealth and therefore create financial independence. So what is good debt versus bad debt? I think that bad debt, and I believe that most people would agree, is anything that depreciates in value. So that would be your credit card payments, your car payments, student loan payments. I mean, they tend, hopefully go towards something that creates wealth. But at the end of the day, the faster you get those paid off, they're not creating more and more wealth as they sit there for 20, 30 years. Any sort of lines of credit, basically anything that's not tied to a growing asset, so such as a house, maybe a business, land, something that continues to appreciate in value. And also, most depreciating debt is a higher interest rate. Your credit card interest rate can be anywhere from 18 to 26%, sometimes more, versus a home loan, even though rates are considered high right now at 6.5% or wherever they're at, 6.25. In reality, it's actually very low rate of interest rate in comparison to other things. So, in my opinion, it is best to try to get your depreciating debt or your bad debt paid down as quickly as possible. So how do we do this? I personally like to do paycheck percentage pails. We can get into that later, but basically every single dollar that comes into my bank account already has a home. Before it even enters my account, I have a place for it. So a percentage of it goes to savings, a percentage of it goes to investing, a percentage of it goes to debt. My debt pail, that is over and above my minimum payments. So that is in addition to whatever is required as a monthly minimum payment for that debt. I consider the monthly minimum payment to just be part of my bills, and therefore that goes into a different pail. So that's calculated out when I structure out my budget. And again, I'll do another podcast on budgeting and my paycheck percentage pails at a different time, but just to kind of make it easy. So basically that is getting paid because that is considered it's considered my bills. It's something that is due. It's regular payments that need to be paid. Otherwise, somebody's going to come after me. And so therefore, my debt pail is a pail that I use to accelerate the payments of any bad debt or depreciating debt. So therefore, let's say it's 10% of my check. So, if I have a $2,000 check, then $200 is going to go into that debt pail, and that $200 is going to go straight to the principal of whatever that debt is. So because my monthly payment's already getting paid, this is an additional payment that's going to go straight to the principal, which is going to start bringing that down. As that comes down, then also my monthly minimum payment is going to come down. So that is going to increase the amount of spending that I have monthly, and hopefully, which I highly recommend, you take that difference and start continuing to pay down, increasing the payments that you're going to pay down that debt in hopes to get it to zero. So that is my plan whenever I have any sort of credit card debt or car payments or any sort of depreciating or bad debt. I also highly think that you shouldn't have a car payment, and at minimum, you shouldn't have a car payment that's beyond what is needed. Let's be real. At the end of the day, you need a car to get you from point A to point B. Anything above that, if you have to finance it, you can't afford it. So if you're financing your Range Rover or your Escalade or something like that, it probably means that you can't afford it. Now, I know that there are different reasons that people finance different things for business purposes or whatever. That aside, I'm hoping that if you're doing that, then you're already ahead of the curve. You have your finances in order, and you're not drowning in debt. But this is for the average person that is having is struggling to save money, to pay off debt, to start investing and start taking control of their future. If you have a car that is beyond getting you from point A to point B and you have a payment on it, it means that you need to downsize your car. I know you don't love to hear that, but it just is what it is. So I would say that you should probably sell that car or downsize that car. Or if you're going to hold on to it, you get it paid off as quickly as possible and you hold on to that car for as long as that thing will run. If it needs a new transmission in it, you put a new transmission in it. Doesn't mean that you need to go buy a new car. So you have that. Now, let's talk about the I wouldn't say good debt, because I wouldn't say any debt is good debt, but our appreciating debt. The goal of this is that you are making more money on the debt. You're making more money on the asset than you're paying on the debt. So what do I mean by that? Like, let's say you have real estate, for example, and you have an interest rate of 5%, and the average equity build, or what the rate of appreciation in your area on that real estate is 6%. So technically, not only are you making money on the appreciation of the real estate that surpasses the amount of debt that you're paying or the percentage of debt that you're paying, but in hopes, let's say this is an investment property, you're also getting rent on that. So hopefully that rent is, coming close to and or more than your mortgage payment. So your mortgage payment's getting paid and you're now reaping the benefits of the appreciation on that. If anything, at least your mortgage payment is getting paid and possibly you're creating cash flow. So that is how you can leverage debt, especially in real estate, because if you think about it, anything else, any other asset that you invest in, you have to invest the total amount of that asset in order to see the appreciation. So what do I mean by this? If let's say you want, you're getting an 8% return in the stock market, but you're getting an 8% return on your whole entire investment. So if you are getting an 8% return on $100,000, that means you have $100,000 of your own money in the stock market to get that 8% return. The cool thing about real estate is you're getting that full return on the full asset, but you're only putting in a small percentage. So let's say you're buying a $500,000 house, you're putting 10% down, so you're putting in $50,000 of your own money, but you're seeing the appreciation on that whole $500,000. So that $500,000 is increasing, let's say, by 5 to 10%, but your only investment into that is the $50,000. So yes, you still have a mortgage payment, you're still paying the interest on the mortgage, etc., but at the end of the day, it takes a lot less capital in order to invest, and that's where you can leverage that appreciating debt, or I would say like not bad debt. Again, we're not going to call it good debt, but we're going to call it not bad debt, maybe neutral debt. So that is my opinion on debt. I think that obviously it all comes down to your risk threshold and your current finances, and you always want to talk to a mortgage lender and a financial advisor and possibly your accountant to figure out the best strategy for you. But like I said, I think that any depreciating debt is bad debt, and you should try to figure out a way and create and formulate a plan to get that paid off as soon as possible, not only so that you're not wasting the money on interest by paying off that debt, but also you can now use the money that you're saving every month by getting that debt paid off, because you no longer have those payments, and you can now use that money to leverage for good debt or something, or assets that produce you money. Even if you're taking that savings that that normally was going to paying off those loans, even if you're taking that money and putting it into a high yield savings account, you're now at least making money on that money rather than having that money lose you money. And then good debt is any debt that you can leverage in order to make you more money than what the debt and the money costs you to borrow. So again, remember that. So any money that you can use to leverage that makes you more money than what the money costs you. So at the end of the day, you're using the debt to make more money than the debt. Does that make sense? Anyways, I love to talk about this stuff. It's a passion of mine. So please like and follow and share this podcast or this video, however you're watching it, to anybody that you think would get value out of it. And I'm hoping to make this a more regular thing, and hopefully we'll have more come out. So again, I think everybody is able to become a millionaire, and it doesn't mean that you are doing anything crazy. You can be a mediocre millionaire and live an extraordinary life. So thanks so much. I appreciate you being here.